Okay, hello everyone. For this video, we're just going to walk through how to set up Visual Studio Code on Windows. There is also the option to install it on Chromebook and for Mac and also for Linux and different operating systems that you have. If you do have a different operating system, I would suggest watching a video on YouTube, maybe search up how to install VS Code and then type in your operating system, right? For Linux, if you're using Debian or if you're using Arch Linux or Ubuntu, you are going to have to type in Ubuntu, right? If you're using Chromebook, type in Chromebook. If you're using Mac OS, type in Mac OS, right? But for the purpose of this video, we're just going to walk through how to install VS Code for Windows, right? So to begin, all you really need to do is you need to head over to create a new tab, and then within the search bar, search up Visual Studio Code. This is very important. The very first link that you see is the actual Visual Studio Code site. It'll take you to their landing page. And from here, basically, you'll have the single button right over here. So this option right over here, it's already determined my operating system, right? And it's giving me this button here to download for Windows. So all I really need to do now is click on the download button. It's going to open up the Explorer view for me, right? And I just need to save this. So now it's going to save the Visual Studio executable in my downloads directory, right? And right over here, you just need to click on that Visual Studio Code icon, right? And it'll start the executable. So now it's running the executable, and there's a couple steps that you need to do, right? Or a couple steps that you need to provide it before it starts to install Visual Studio Code using the executable, right? So first thing, there is going to be like a disclaimer section over here, like a license agreement. You could read this if you want. Usually we just say I accept agreement and you're perfectly fine. Then you go next, and this is going to be where you want to store or install in a destination location, right? I usually like to just keep it all default. So I'm just going to continue with next here. Then there is the start menu folder, and usually what I like to do is don't create start menu folder, right? This checkbox over here. But what you could do is, just for the sake of the video, let's just put that within a start menu folder, right? So keep everything as is and then click next. And then this over here is some additional information that you need to provide it. What I usually like to do is under the other section right over here, I like to click on these two checkboxes, which is add open with code option, right, to Windows Explorer, which is for the file context menu, and then there's one for the directory context menu. Additionally, you can also add in like this icon thing. So if you're someone who likes to have your icon available in your desktop, right, so you can just go around and click on Visual Studio Code right from your desktop, that's also very possible. You just need to click on this checkbox over here. But for me, I like to keep it very simple and clean on my end, so I'm not going to click on this. But if you are someone who likes to have an icon just visible for you to click on, then definitely click on this checkbox here. So after that, you click next, and this is giving you kind of like a sort of rundown for everything that you set up, right? And you click on this button here, install. So now it's going to prepare to install, and this takes a little bit of time. Usually it depends on how good your internet connection is, right? Or maybe how good your machine is, right? That's going to determine how fast this is going to take. For me, it's relatively quicker. Sometimes it might kind of mess up, but if that does happen, just exit this, cancel, exit this, and then launch the executable again, and then follow the steps and procedures in the video. Okay, so now we have this. And you want to keep this checked. So if this is unchecked, keep this checked so we can launch Visual Studio Code immediately. And then we'll proceed with the next few steps of the setup. So click on Finish. And now what you'll see is Visual Studio Code. Very simple, very, very minimal. And now one of the benefits of setting VS Code now is just having the option to kind of like continue with either Google, Apple, whatever GHE is. GitHub Enterprise, okay, and then you also have the option to continue with Google, right? So this is what it's going to do right now is Visual Studio Code is going to authenticate your account or your account within your IDE with the account that you have set up on GitHub. So if you followed the previous video, which was Nexus Academy setting up GitHub, you already have a GitHub account, so all you really need to do is continue with the GitHub option, and then it will display a pop-up window which allows you to just authenticate yourself, and that way your IDE now has your account information, and you also have your account information set up on GitHub as well, right? So now the VS Code is going to have your account information. But for now, We don't need to do any of this, so we're just going to continue without signing in. It's not really necessary. This option over here is completely up to you. What I really like to do is just go with the defaults, right? Dark is perfectly fine. And for keyboard mappings, you want to just keep this the same. If you have IntelliJ JetBrains, you could choose IntelliJ JetBrains, right? It just changed the keyboard mappings to whatever that other IDE is, right? IntelliJ or JetBrains IDEs, but VS Code default keyboard mappings, they work fine. So then click on continue. Then for this one, what you can do is just click on get started, right? You don't need to do anything for that. So now this is Visual Studio Code. So you have it set up. There's a chat option over here. You could close this every single time. It's going to open up a chat option. You don't really need it. Then you have this welcome option over here, right? Or you can press Control-Shift-P and it'll give you this sort of commander bar, right? And you can type the commands that you want to type. Usually what I like to do is I like to type open folder, right? Which opens a folder within my my file explorer, right? Or press Control-Shift and then it would be open recent, Control-Shift-P, open recent. And this is just going to show like recent projects that you've been working on. It's a really, really easy way to just like fast track your progress, right? Or just like fast track going back to where you left off. But for that, we're going to walk in through a little bit more comprehensive video on that, right? Walking over GitHub properly, or GitHub and VS Code properly. But for now, you have VS Code set up and you're good to go.